One of my favorite storylines of the season so far has been Meri getting her release. And I'm glad, I am also glad, like this commenter, that the church contacted Kody and that he seemed upset about it. So what we see, I have a lot of thoughts about this section, but I'm going to start with what we see in the episode is that Kody says, yeah, they contacted me and told me I got a release, and then said some stuff I don't want to share. And then they immediately cut to Meri saying they did say that it was on the grounds of abandonment, which I imagine is part of what Kody did not want repeated, as well as when he's like, I'm scared of what Meri will do. And then he kind of clarified, she's going to say stuff and people are going to think badly. And it's like, trust me, nothing she could say, well, actually there is plenty, but nothing she has said is worse than his own behavior on the show. I'm sure there's things that she could say that would be even worse, but she certainly hasn't done so yet. Crossing my fingers we get that. But this was one of my favorite storylines so far, and I am so interested in it. And if I was a producer, I would have been like, hey, Meri, when you go up to Utah, do you know anyone who's gotten a release? Maybe you could have a lunch with a few ladies or even men who've had releases. You can sit and talk. You can explain to us a little bit more in depth. I would have loved some statement from the AUB. I totally get that that a lot of times the answer is just no. Maybe they did some of this stuff and the answer was no. But even like a very formal, like, here at the whatever, we take spiritual marriages incredibly seriously, and we did our due diligence or whatever. Like, I would have liked to hear a lot more about this. And it's weird to me because I feel like Meri's really coming into her own, and she's doing some great interviews, and she was not present in several of the last episodes with just little tiny snippets. And I'm like, the woman has things to say. She has snarky, biting things to say. Let her speak. We don't need to hear Robin tell us what happened before she even arrived on the show, or continue to cry about how she's so sad and also everyone is terrible, and Kody cry about how he doesn't love anybody, but he's also miserable. So I was really glad that we were able to get this. I would have loved more of this. I would have loved everything. I would have sat and listened to a whole hour of them just dragging him for what a bad husband he was. I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on this in terms of, it's clear that she just basically self-filmed all of that. And it's like, they can't even get a camera guy out to even drive with her or film her going into the building or whatever they would allow. Same with like, they couldn't have had her meet with someone who's had a release who talks about how difficult it was. Even like, I don't know if Christine's mom, they were going to run the B&B together, Christine's mom, Annie, until Bonnie, Meri's mom, decided she wanted to do it. It makes perfect sense why Meri would have her own mother do it instead of Annie. But, like something, I would have loved more of it. And I love that Kody looks bad in front of his church, which is funny because there's nothing she has said is as bad as what he is saying on TV, where he's like, I don't respect those guys. I don't want to deal with their BS. They have no authority over me. It's like, I'm sure they're not going to take very kindly to that. But anyway, yeah, thanks for the commenter who commented that.